CBD ultimately slows down the metabolism of other foreign drugs, stimulants, whatever it might be that are in your body, even caffeine. What that means is the processing time to metabolize those medications, those drugs, whatever they may be, it's going to take longer, which means they're going to stay within your system longer. So it actually slows down the metabolism process. Okay, we are back to talk about SSRIs in relation to CBD, and this is really more of a educational video just to help those of you who are taking SSRIs or who have been, much like myself, you know, the process of dosing down to something less than what I was taking. Certainly, you know, there's withdrawal symptoms related to that, so I want to make sure we touch on that a little bit more, but also talk a little bit more about what an SSRI is, if you don't know already, what it does, and obviously how CBD is going to impact the chemistry and other things within your body. There's a lot going on, so I just feel it's important for me to, at this point in time, just give you, you know, some information based on what I've researched and what I've read. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, not a medical professional, nor do I claim to be. So the information and advice that I'm giving you today is really just for you to have this discussion with your medical professional or your doctor about these particular things, and just make sure that you're both on the same page in terms of your plan and your strategy with regards to utilizing CBD if you're currently on an SSRI, or if you're on something else that utilizes the same CYP450 pathway within your liver to metabolize CBD, which that's the pathway that CBD is metabolized through, along with SSRIs. And there's also other drugs, stimulants and other things that are metabolized through the same pathway. So those are listed in the description of this video, so pay attention to that as well, because there is going to be an impact. And the reason why I say that, CBD ultimately slows down the metabolism of other foreign drugs, stimulants, whatever it might be that are in your body, even caffeine is one. So you have to be careful of that, because what that means is the processing time to metabolize those medications, those drugs, whatever they may be, it's going to take longer, which means they're going to stay within your system longer. So it actually slows down the metabolism process. So you have to be careful about that, because ultimately, you know, the risk of overdose is there because of the fact that your body isn't metabolizing these drugs as quickly as it normally would. Okay, so that's item number one. Item number two is, let's talk a little bit about serotonin. Okay, so SSRI stands for selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. It's a mouthful, I know. But what it does is I'm no doctor here, but ultimately, you know, it makes sure that the serotonin, you know, remains as such. It's because it inhibits the reuptake of it. So essentially, it's allowing you to have more serotonin, and that's allowing you to obviously feel better. Okay, so what's going to happen is CBD has an effect on serotonin as well. And so it's important that you don't have too much serotonin. So that's why if you're on an SSRI, especially a large dose, don't overdo it on the CBD until you talk to your physician about it. And do make sure that if it's possible, start reducing your dose of your SSRI at the same time. So you're not adding layers or a layer on top of what you're already doing. Too much serotonin is not a good thing, okay? We know that it makes you feel good when you have lots of it, okay? But there are, you know, negative things that can occur if you do have too much of that going on. And so that's just something to also be aware of if, again, introducing CBD to your existing SSRI, especially, again, if you're on high dosages. Also, pay attention to blood pressure drop. So that's something else that may happen if you already have low blood pressure. Taking CBD can bring your blood pressure down even lower. So pay attention to that. Again, I'm not sure, and again, I apologize for not researching this prior to. I don't know what the effect of SSRIs have on blood pressure. I didn't look into that. But the reality is, if you are training for something, if you're an athlete, and you're on an SSRI and you're starting to introduce CBD, just make sure that you're paying attention to that. Have a conversation with your doctor about that so that you don't get into a situation where the low blood pressure can become a problem for you. Again, just to touch on this, I know I touched on it in the last video, but I'm going to touch on it again. SSRIs do have pretty heavy withdrawal symptoms. I witnessed that myself. Even with CBD helping to offset those symptoms. And again, that's what CBD should be helping with, is to kind of help reduce those withdrawal symptoms so that they're not as heavy as they normally would be. But at the same time, you have to gauge that for yourself. If you find that you're falling back into depression, or your anxiety is starting to come back to play, I mean, those are all things that I've been able to notice, and you've just got to pay attention to that. If you're noticing you're feeling, again, pay attention to what your body's telling you. If you're starting to feel anxious, if you're starting to feel depressed, just chill out a little bit, okay? Go back to another dose, start just working on your doses in such a fashion so that you're not dosing down too quickly. Again, talk to your doctor about the dosage or dosing down schedule. And again, all that's going to depend on what you're taking, how much of it you're taking, because SSRIs and other antidepressants and anti-anxiety medications, the dosing down process is different for all of them, really. So be careful of that. And again, don't overdo it. Do it slowly. Take your time. If you find you're going too fast, put the brakes on, slow it down, and again, just make sure you're paying attention to what your body's telling you, okay? So hopefully this is helpful to you. Just a few extra things that I thought would be really, really important to share, because I would hate to have this knowledge and not share it with you. It's obviously my job here is to, try and share with you the things that I've learned and have come to know while being on this journey. And so hopefully, if you happen to be on this journey yourself, or you're planning on doing this for yourself, you'll have a little bit of a heads up, in terms of what to pay attention to and what to look for. So I'm done for now with that. We'll get on to the next one here shortly, and talk about some more things that are going on with me and my journey, and excited to share it with you. So stick around, and I'll see you on the next one, and take care of yourself. I'll see you then. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you being here. If this content was of benefit to you and you'd like to see more of it coming your way, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. And of course, if this could be of benefit to somebody you love or care about, please make sure and share it with them. Of course, if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, let me know why so I can do a better job moving forward. And lastly, if you are currently taking CBD or considering taking CBD moving forward, again, I'm not a medical professional, so I'm not here to give any sort of medical advice. I'm only here to give you some guidance and some knowledge. Make sure that you have that conversation with your doctor, your psychiatrist, your medical professional before you start to take CBD, especially if you're taking other medications, so they can help guide you along the way. I wish you the best. Good luck to you. I'll see you soon.